Hello and welcome to Quilt Addicts Anonymous. I'm Stephanie Soebbing. I know you've heard me talk about that I'm teaching on a quilting cruise to Alaska, but I wanted to do a video that's just about the quilting cruise so you guys can get some more information about it and decide if you want to go. The reason why there's some urgency is because we are going in July 13th through the 20th to be specific, and that is the best month ever to go on an Alaskan quilting cruise. And it's a bucket list cruise, not just for quilters who want to go on the shop hops in Alaska, but also for a lot of people. So this particular type of cruise tends to fill up all the cabins by the beginning of January. So if you want to make sure that you go, one, there's a limited number of sewing spaces. We only have 23 sewing machine spaces available. And also those cabins are going to start filling up from folks who are not part of the quilting component of the cruise. So you're going to want to make sure that you get your deposit in before, well, really as soon as possible, but definitely before the end of December if you're going to have a slot to go on the cruise. Let me tell you a little bit more about it and why I'm so excited about it. One, my family gets to come along with it, so that's going to be really exciting. And don't worry, my kids are not going to be in the classroom with me. I'm going to have some folks there with me to help take care of them. Plus, there's childcare opportunities on the ship where they can go have a blast with other kids their own age. So you'll see them at dinner, and you might see them on a shop hop or two. But for the most part, it's going to be you and me hanging out in the sewing area. A second reason is the shop hops. They're going to be amazing. We have shop hops planned for Vancouver, Canada, and this is really cool. So what we do is we all stay at the same hotel the night before we go, and then a bus picks us and all our luggage up, and we just store the luggage underneath, and then we get to go shop hop at a couple of locations on our way to the cruise ship. And that's how we spend our day. And any of our goodies go into our luggage, and then it just gets brought onto the ship and it shows up magically at your stateroom later. So it's a really great way to get to the cruise ship, and you don't have to worry about how you're going to get there. If you're going to get there on time, is the Uber going to know what they're doing? You're just going to make it there, and it's going to be on time, and it's going to be super smooth and super seamless. We're also going to do a shop hop and hopefully a behind the scenes museum tour in Juneau, Alaska, and lunch somewhere. It's fabulous. So that I'm really excited about as well. There's some great shops in Juneau, Alaska to check out, and we're working with the Alaska State Museum. There's going to be at least one art quilt on display during the time that we're there, and we're trying to organize a behind the scenes textile tour for us as well. And these two excursions are just for us quilters. You don't have to go on them. It's definitely optional, but it definitely is a fun way to see the city and through the eyes of a quilter. And who doesn't want to go on a shop hop when you're on vacation? And you get to do it with a bunch of other ladies who are going to be super excited about you buying that thing, and not the husband who's like, when do we get to go do the next thing? You know how it is. I know how it is. I have a husband who also very much supports my quilting, but also thinks I have plenty of fabric, which I do, but I don't have fabric to commemorate my trip to Alaska, and that's a very separate purchase. And so you ladies will all understand that. My husband, not so much. All right, now let's get to the details of the cruise. We're going to have 18 hours of class time, and it's not going to impact your time to do excursions and visit the ports or even spend time with a significant other that's coming with you. It is an 8-day, 7-night cruise that starts off in Vancouver, Canada, and then we'll spend a whole day cruising the Inside Passage. While we cruise the Inside Passage, we'll be in a conference room that has beautiful ocean views. So we'll get to do our first day of sewing in 2 3-hour chunks with a great break for lunch. And it's fabulous food on Celebrity, let me tell you. We'll see beautiful views of the Canadian shoreline as we go through, because it's all going to be pretty close to land. So we're not going to be dealing with really rough seas. It's going to be a really calm cruise that we go on. Then we all get to have community dining where we all eat in the same area. Now, you don't have to eat with us if you don't want to. If you've had enough peopling for the day, you can go off and do your own thing. But we do have reserved seating for dining. So while everyone else is waiting in line, we get to walk by and sit at the same tables every day and get to know each other. And you get to sit with me and my kids and my 4-year-old, who will eat chicken nuggets for every single meal that we are there. I guarantee you. My 10-year-old wants to try fish, so she'll be a little bit more adventurous, but they're both a hoot, and they will be perfectly fine dinner companions, I assure you, and they're looking forward to dressing for dinner. So on day 3, we have a stop in Icy Strait Point, Alaska. And we don't stop in town until 1:30 in the afternoon. So what we're going to do is have a class in the morning, and then you can go off and experience the port. And this is what I like to tell people. You do not have to do an excursion in every single port city. You're going to be able to get to port and walk around and find your own goodies while you're there if you just want to explore on your own, which I did for many of the stops on the transatlantic cruise, because excursions are great. They're once in a lifetime experiences a lot of times, but it definitely adds to the cost of the trip. So if you're trying to do it on a budget and you just want to see the sights of the city, there's going to be plenty for you to do all on your own without paying an extra dime. It's just your time to walk off the ship or scooter off the ship if you have a scooter. The fourth day, we're going to be cruising Hubbard Glacier. So this is technically an entire sea day where we get to see the beautiful scenes of glaciers in Alaska. For the morning, you guys are going to have off to do whatever it is that you want to do. And then from 2 to 5, we will have a class again to work on our project. So you'll get plenty of time to lounge by the pool, so on the solarium, while you're watching the beautiful views of the glacier go by, or just check out many of the other options that the cruise ship has. There's always a trivia that you can find. There are all kinds of onboard activities as well beyond what our activity is of sewing. Our fifth day is our big long day in Juneau, Alaska. We're going to be in port for about 12 hours, so there's plenty of time for you to explore on your own, or you can also join us for some of that time on the shop hop to go to some Juneau quilt shops and also the Museum of Alaska, where we get to check out hopefully some textiles behind the scenes. I'm really excited about this one. I think it's going to be a blast. On the sixth day, we're headed back towards Vancouver. So we're going to stop in Ketchikan, Alaska. Again, this is one of those ports where we're only going to be there in the afternoon. So we'll spend the morning in the sewing room watching the beautiful views as we cruise by the Alaska shoreline. And then in the afternoon, you can go explore port. Seventh day is our final day at sea. We're going to be cruising the Inside Passage. We'll have the morning to all be together for our final class before the sewing machines need to be packed up to head on home. And I like to end it with a nice champagne toast, so that way we can celebrate what we've accomplished and learned and the friends that we made while we were on the boat. So that'll be a lot of fun for all of us to do together. The next day we get off early morning in Vancouver, and you can be home that same day if you have that same day flight. That's what I'm planning on doing. So this is a really good one if you can only take off 1 week at a time. You're just going to be gone Saturday to Sunday, so it's not a big deal at all. You'll definitely be able to make that work. I'm really excited about this. What I would like to do is teach a 60-degree triangle and diamond masterclass. We're going to have 18 hours of class time, so that's more than enough time for me to hold your guys' hands to show you guys that this is not as hard as it looks. And when you're done, you'll have a beautiful table runner that I'm calling Northern Lights that you will be able to show off all that you learned and take the intimidation out of some of those patterns that look too intimidating but really are not bad at all once you learn how to make them without Y seams, which we'll do there. If you don't get it finished on the trip, that's totally fine. There are always folks who you know are going to finish, and there are folks who are going to talk the whole time, and maybe they'll finish it someday and maybe they won't, and that's okay too. But if you want to finish it on board, you probably can. And if you don't want to finish it on board, you're going to have the skills you need to wrap it up later when you get home, because it's a nice small project. We're not going to be doing any quilting. We're just going to work on the piecing for this project. Now, I've heard some people say that it sounds a little complicated. Now, I'm totally open to changing up the project, but you've got to be a booked guest to have a vote in that say. So you got to be on there. And if people are like, hey, man, I really love this, I'm really excited, but this is just way too much for me, then that's okay. We can change projects. I'm not married to this project idea. We can learn whatever it is that you guys want to learn while we're on there, and we can just enjoy our time together. But we do have plenty of class time for me to hold your guys' hand so that you can really make something amazing and have a really great skill set to come home with. So if you want to learn more about it, you want to click on the link below. It takes you to an interactive PDF for RG Travels. When you fill it out, it lets Ray and John, they're our travel agents, our travel concierges, they handle everything. They make sure everything is good to go. They make sure the price that you're quoted is the price you're going to pay, and they make sure that everything is set to go for you. They can handle your flights if you need it. They can handle your pre and post hotel if you need that. They are amazing. And they make everything go super smoothly because they do this all the time and they travel with us so that if there are any issues, they handle it. You don't have to worry about it at all. One other thing to keep in mind is that when I say the price is the price, it means that you're not going to get nickel and dime for anything. Your drink package, and some people say, oh, I don't drink, but when you're on a cruise ship, you get charged for every Coke, every water bottle, every tea, you name it, you're going to get charged for it. And if you have the drink package, anything that's $10 or less, including all those teas, water bottles, all that, it's just included. So you don't have to worry about that. The gratuities are all included. You can tip if you want, if you feel like someone has done really great service for you, but you do not have to. The things that could be extra are if you want to go on excursions, and that's going to vary in price depending on what type of excursion you're going to be. If you want to go whale watching, that's going to be a little expensive. If you just want to do a touristy thing to a glacier or somewhere, probably not as bad. It really just or like a walking tour of local history, not going to be bad at all. But it is just, it's up to you how much you want to spend on those extra excursions. Because obviously that is not included in the price. And our excursions for the shop hops are going to be an extra, but we're going to keep them affordable for you guys. And then if you do things on the ship, there's lots of opportunities to spend money on the ship. There are shops everywhere. There are amazing salon and spa if you want to check out those services. You know, you can spend more money. You definitely can. But if you also want to get on there and you want to just go with whatever basic internet you get and you want to explore the ports on your own, then the price can be the price. And that is totally fine. You don't have to worry about it. But what you don't have to worry about is getting nickel and dimed for other amenities and add-ons. This is not like flying Spirit Airlines. The price that you get quoted is the price that the cruise is going to be for you. So you do not have to worry about that. But go check out the Filled Interactive PDF. It doesn't commit you to anything. It just lets Rain John know that you're interested. And then you'll want to make that deposit as soon as you can if you want to go. Because one, we only have 23 spaces for sewing. And two, that cruise is going to book up from other people who really want to go to Alaska in July because it's a bucket list cruise. A lot of people want to go to this place and it's the best month of the year to go as far as the weather's concerned. One last thing, for those of you who were on the last cruise where we had to share sewing machines, we do not have to do that this year. The sewing machines are provided as part of the retreat cost. It is open sew in the other times that we are not in class. So if you would rather just go down there and sew in the evenings, you absolutely can do that. I'm going to have my kids with me, so I won't be down there all night every night, but I'm definitely going to be making appearances from here and there with you guys to see how you guys are doing. But it's going to be a lot of fun, and you can work on your project as much or as little as you want to while you're on that cruise. There's also plenty for others to do who are joining you. So if you have a sister or significant other that's traveling with you, don't worry. There's plenty of activities on the boat for them to keep themselves entertained with while you're in class with us. And we also plan downtime for you as well. So that way you are spending plenty of time with your loved ones while you're there. Like, I'm going to have my kids there. I'm going to want to make sure I make some memories with them there as well. And so the most we're ever going to be in class in a day is going to be 6 hours. And you'll have the rest of the time with your loved ones to really enjoy the trip. All right. Until next time, happy quilting.